We've got 6 people in. All right, well, we made it through another week, it appears. another COVID 2020 week. So let's go ahead and kick this thing off. It's 8:31. Welcome everybody. Happy Friday. I'll continue to let folks in as they
I like your nature scene behind you today. That's it's a fall scene. I like it.
You picked up on that. Yes, I was feeling a little fall this morning. I figured we're not quite Halloween yet. I've got a special Halloween one for when we get closer to Halloween. But
well, I'll tell you what, to be honest, and I think Halloween falls on a Saturday, right? This year, is that right? 31st on a
the
yes.
first of my Tuesday meetings.
So that Friday, I know usually the protocol would be for me to be in costume. So it could, you know what, you might get a real treat.
I'm looking forward to that. That'll be awesome.
Will it? I'm not quite sure yet. Janet poked her head the other day. What are you going to dress up? What are you going to dress up as this year? I'm like, I don't know. But I'll think of something.
It's a surprise.
It's a
surprise. Well, hey, everybody. As I'm sure you can see, we've got Emma back with us. Emma's a regular here. You guys all know her by now. Got her back here this week, and I'm sure she's got an awesome social media Facebook tip for us so that we can all be better with our social media. I am actually getting better slowly but surely. I do take coaching, so I'm getting there. Let's dive right on into this. You guys kind of know the drill. I like to keep you guys abreast of where we're at with interest rates. So I'll share my screen real quick and let you know where we're at. We've been pretty much hovering right where we've been for weeks now. We've been up against these resistance levels. And let me show this to you. You guys can see my screen now, right? Thumbs up.
It's black, but I don't see anything up, but it says you're sharing.
Yeah, it says you're sharing.
It says I'm sharing, but you can't see it?
Yeah, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. That's not good. Let's stop that. Sorry, technical difficulties here. You know what, I don't think, I didn't reboot my computer all week, so it's probably a memory issue. It won't even let me stop sharing right now.
Oh.
Note to self, reboot computer before Friday morning. What do you guys see right now?
It's still black.
All right, well, I am sorry about that because now,
Oh, is frozen for you, Shane?
What's that?
11 is the official checkout, baby. And the cool thing is I was planning for 10. And it's because you were saying that your thing starts at 10. And so it kind of went in my mind. And then last night I thought, well, I'm not going to hurry if I don't want to go to bed just yet.
okay, you guys are back. Sorry about that. I'm not going to go ahead and share because of what just happened there. But I'll just let you guys know from where we were the last couple of weeks. We're right on those same levels. Right now on the 15-year conventional, the mid-twos, 2.625 with 0 points. The 30-year fixed, we've been hovering right around 3.99, same spot, no points. And then on those Govy loans, same deal. We're kind of right there with conventional, 2.875, 3%. But those are carrying about 3/4 of a point right now. Again, same reason, you know, the CARES Act and all the four.
What about, you did laundry the other day?
I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. And when I do that, if you guys do want to comment, which obviously we encourage you to do, you can unmute yourselves. All right. I think I got it. And then last but not least on the jumbos, same deal. Things have been real stable since we kind of came back out of the initial shock of COVID, and those things have come right back in line, kind of almost pre-COVID, hanging around down there in the low threes as well without paying any points. So everything looks real good. We are seeing a little bit of upward pressure right now. The bonds, the mortgage-backed securities have been battling some resistance levels, but we are seeing a little bit of upward pressure. And then otherwise, things are motoring along. Applications are still up. We're about 60-40 refinance to purchase right now. Shane, what do you got for us on the market stuff? I'm sure those charts are still showing things are moving right along.
Oh, most definitely. And I will share my screen. Hopefully I'll be able to share and it'll go off okay with our little glitch here, but I'll share a little bit. Been an interesting week. So I'll share the market update with you real quick. And for those that get this, you've seen it before. I concentrate on Chandler because here's where I'm at. And the cool thing is we're going to see some awesome temperatures next week. I'm excited. Fall is come to the valley. I think we're done with the record-setting heat. I don't want to jinx anything though.
I think that's exactly how you jinx that.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said anything about any of that, but it looked good in the paper. I was excited. Market's still doing pretty much what it always does. Chandler did drop quite a bit in median list price, but that doesn't, over a week, that could have just been it's all about the sales. So, what happened last week. But, the guide here, we're still in a very strong seller's market, as you know. Inventory kind of puttering around. And you can see down here where we're going with inventory. It's just up and down. It's really just kind of been stagnant a little bit. And it's funny because I got in a conversation with Tina Tambor about this a couple of weeks ago when I chatted with her. And what I see and what she sees, two different animals. So it's kind of funny. I picked up a lot of stuff. I'm like, is she right or am I right? But anyways, it was just one of those things. I defer to her on a lot of things. I mean, Cromford's an awesome tool. But this is a great report. If you're not getting this, let me know and I'll hook you up with it. New inventory last week. What sold? I do want to show, and I don't think I can. I think I have to stop and reshare. But let me do this if I can. So. And for those that have seen this guy before, I started putting this together a few weeks ago. It is one shot, one page of pretty much everything that's going on in the valley and really outside the valley and some of those second home destinations that so many people bought up north this year, in the White Mountains and in Flag and in, Prescott and everything up that way. But it's kind of neat to see everything in one page. And I've been doing it long enough now. I'm starting to notice trends and I'm flagging those things. So I send this thing out to agents on Monday mornings because I get those market updates in on Monday morning and I come into the office and I crunch this thing together real quick and I try to get it out to everybody so that, those that want it. If you're not getting it and you would like it, just let me know. I'll put you in the distribution list. But really, I marked highs and lows on here in yellow and the trends I kind of marked in gold. Things that I'm seeing like 3 weeks in a row or whatever, that's what kind of I'm marking as trends. Like, Mesa median list prices have gone down for I think even 4 weeks in a row now. They've been kind of going down. Paradise Valley continues to go up, which is Paradise Valley. So it's kind of neat to be able to see this stuff. And the market index here, I put on here is our Altos reports that we get. Their benchmark is 30. So 30 and down is a buyer's market. 31 and up, it would be a seller's market. So, and it only goes to 100, unlike Cromford, which I think their benchmark is 100. And everything below that is buyers and everything above that is sellers. So it's a little bit different, but it's going to show you the same kind of information. If you don't subscribe to Cromford, this is a great little tool and something you could share with folks if you'd like to. I mean, I would think you want to share more of the market updates than this thing, but this is more, I just kind of put this together for you to kind of take a quick look at it and kind of note trends and stuff like that. But yeah, real cool stuff. So let me know if I can help with that. But Yeah, it's been a kind of a busy, it's been busy. You know, we're seeing same, like you said, Kirk, with refis, you know, you said you're about 60-40 with refis right now?
60-40 refi to purchase applications. Now,
Yeah.
that's national, those are national numbers. We tend to be a little more on the extremes than the national numbers, but I haven't seen any numbers here locally as far as purchase to refinances.
Yeah, I'd be curious.
No inventory's down, so it's, you know, everybody's in a bidding war on the good houses out there.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny, and then I talked about this a little bit last week too. With, you know, talking to Tina was game changing for me. I keep going back to my discussion with her, and you know, her reason for the inventory. It's like we're seeing like a lot of listings, but they're just not staying on the market. So it isn't, you know, those inventory numbers are. It's funny how it is. The things are going so fast, and I think we've seen a little trickle of more inventory come in, but that's the time of year and everything. And we talked about that before too. I mean, and as we get closer to the holidays, which is freaking crazy that it's, you know, October 9th already. It's like, where did this year go? I mean, why do I say that every year though? Really, I think, and my parents told me, you know, oh, the older you get, the faster it goes. It's true in every single way. You know, I'm like, wow, I got more gray hair today. That's awesome. You know, but it's just one of those things that the years gone by so quickly, especially for me during COVID. I mean, the days seem longer, but the time goes faster, and that makes no sense at all. But it seems like the way it's going. I'm like, wow, really? We're coming up the middle of October next week? I mean, it'll be Thanksgiving before you know it. I mean, I'm already booking stuff out into November and whatever. I'm like, wow, we're coming to the holidays.
Yeah, it's here. I know, sitting there in the midst of COVID going, my goodness, you know, I can't wait till this is over. You know, at least the really the lockdown portion, the quarantine portion. And now we are, for the most part, that's kind of in the rearview mirror, but it's fall now. It's crazy. Pumpkins are getting put out and getting Halloween. So there was one thing you had mentioned last week that you just touched on again. And I've never seen the actual data for this, but because inventory is so low, I would love to see if we could track down this number. And that is the number of listings that are hitting the market over a certain period of time, right? Because obviously things are getting listed and they're immediately getting gobbled up. Well, from a historical perspective, are we still seeing the same amount of listings hit and immediately go under contract? Or are we seeing a lower or a higher number that are hitting? My gut's telling me there's fewer people listing, especially during COVID, right? That there's fewer people actually listing their house. But I'd love to actually see that number versus active listings on the market. That's a whole different number than what's hitting and immediately going under contract.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, and I sat through a presentation last week ago, Thursday, with Tina, and it looked, and it made my head spin a little bit because she showed numbers that we're seeing huge numbers of listings at the market right now. Huge numbers. Like
larger than historical norms.
Yeah.
And they're just instantaneously getting down.
Yeah, and I was like, and that to me just bored me because maybe I live in a very isolated little world, but it just really was shocking to see that. I mean, it was a crazy amount. It was on par with like way back. I'm like, is that true? Because all I see is low inventory, which is true. It's 100% true. You can't get around that.
Yeah, we got like half a month's worth of inventory, something crazy.
Yeah. But if we're seeing massive numbers of listings hit and go, that obviously isn't increasing our inventory at all because everything's going as fast as it hits the market. And so much goes in the coming soon phase too right now. So many things are sold before they even go live, so it's just one of those things that, and I try to contact her, and I don't know if anyone on here, and feel free to pipe in, if anyone on here subscribes to the Cromford Report. I know that data is right at your fingertips. I don't have Cromford. It's one of those things that I'm going to try to figure out if I can get it because I want it, because numbers like that are things I want to see, like you were just talking about, Kurt. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a true litmus test of what's really going on. When you're okay, well, yeah, there's low inventory, but we're getting a lot of listings. They're just being eaten up real fast. So
Yeah, I think it'd give a whole nother insight into what's really occurring in the market that's causing the low inventory. Is it low listings and normal buyer activity, or high listings and abnormally high buyer activity? Love to see where that's coming in at.
yeah.
And just one other comment, I love those charts that you're always doing. That's awesome. And I'm curious because the trend, if you look at the chart for inventory for Chandler that you put up, the trend is clearly down. And then the short-term line is kind of, bouncing around above and below it.
Yep.
I'm curious if maybe we've hit a floor. So these next weeks and kind of months as we head through the holidays, it's going to be interesting if that thing kind of stops and levels off, or if that trend keeps going. I don't know how much lower we can go. I mean, inventory is just, like I said, it's like half a month or something. So
Yeah, and
it's
really
tough out there if you're a buyer.
Yeah, and really every community, every city in the valley here is in the same boat with this, to be honest. And that's what when I talked to her, I was like, to me, it looks like when I'm looking at this stuff, it looked, and I look at this stuff every week. When it comes, I study it. I'm like, that's, but to me, it looked like everything had kind of leveled out a little bit. Like we're kind of in that, okay, well, we're doing this, and now it's kind of doing this. But she disputed that. And I'm like, well, your data is different than mine, but it's kind of the same. So I want to pick her brain a little bit more about that. And I try to reach out to her to try to see if I can get some slides that I can share, some of the stuff that she had, that she presented, because I really think it's interesting stuff. And I mean, I'm a stats and numbers nut. I love that stuff. It's like, you can just keep feeding it to me. I just eat it up. I love it. It's one of those weird.
Well, me, so.
Oh yeah, it's one of those weird people. I can just sit and study and tinker with stuff like for days. But it just it's very interesting to me. But to me, like I said, and then what I've been putting together is some of these to mark these trends and whatever. It looks like things are they're just kind of leveled, a little bit. But she predicts prices to keep going up. So you got people on the fence waiting for that. Oh, the market's going to crash and they're going to get a good deal. You're not.
Well, no, and that's a good message to make sure we're kind of reiterating here from an inventory and then from the mortgage side. Rates are low, which means people can buy more house. And if people can buy more house, it's kind of like when the government subsidizes things, right? You can afford more if the government's going to help you insure it or protect you. So right now, rates are super low. People can buy more. So guess what's going to happen? They're going to bid it up, especially if there's scarcity. Prices are going to keep getting bid up. Now, where that's going to stop, I don't know. But right now, things keep going under multiple offers. So and people are offering over list, and probably right now, sellers are like, doggone it, I listed it too low.
Right.
I wish I would have listed it higher. So
yeah.
Something to be mindful of right now with rates so low, people can afford to buy more house. So
yeah, do you think that could lead to trouble? I've talked to a couple agents about that who are scared about that because rates are low and you can buy more house, but should you buy more house?
Well, I don't know the answer to that, but here's my philosophy. We always touch on this almost on a weekly basis. Kind of grander scheme of things. If interest rates spike anytime soon, the federal government's not going to be able to pay its debt. Okay, we continue to pile on trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of debt. And so if those rates spike, then where's the country going to come up with the money just to service the debt, more or less to cover all of those mandatory expenditures that they have? Discretionary, I think literally it's like 20% of the budget, 80% is mandatory spending and debt service. So from that perspective, rates, I don't see rates spiking anytime soon. And I think they'll work very, very hard to control rates to stay low. So if somebody gets into a house today and then rates spike on them and they can't afford it tomorrow, I don't necessarily see that coming. But could we have another major, you know, COVID-ish quarantine thing where more people become unemployed and can't pay their mortgage? That's a possibility. But hopefully, like we've talked about, they have equity and they can hire one of our awesome agents to help them get that house sold and put that equity in the bank and live to fight another day. So it's interesting that you know, we'll see how this plays out because nobody really knows. But that's what it looks like to us, right? I mean, we've had this discussion week in and week out.
Yeah. I one of the underlying issues with what's going on, and again, and talking to Tina, and she predicted a spike in foreclosures because people they'll lose their mind when they get that letter in the mail with a balloon payment for X amount of months they were in forbearance, and people are just going to call Open Door. No, they won't call. They'll get on a computer and look for Open Door or OfferPad to try to get out of it as fast as they can. I just think, you know, getting in front of those folks, and that's what I've been trying to figure out too, is the best way to do that, because we can't identify them. Folks in forbearance, there's no way to identify those people. Yes, you can wait until it's they're 90 days late, but then everybody and their brother has that same information. You're not getting in front of that. So I think putting something together, maybe popping on social media, something that Emma could definitely help with, I'm sure, to go over forbearance options, maybe that might be your best shot. I mean, unless you're already marketing, if you've got a farm that you're already hitting, I would include something maybe in that to just kind of touch on that a little bit. Because, yeah, these people are running flags in their front yard saying, hey, forbearance. There's no way to identify them. But Tina had some great points about talking to people about it and presenting options to those folks. So just so they know.
Yeah, and I don't know how you find them because, yeah, there's nothing going to be public until out of forbearance, and then they're 90 days past due. And, you know, they're going to be able to kick that forbearance can down the road a little bit with government pressure. They're going to lean on those lenders not to immediately go into default with those folks. So, I'm not quite sure how you find them other than, some generic, you know, commercial kind of posts on social media or something.
Since I see Pam's comment in chat, it's like, yeah, everyone does have equity, but people being people, they'll get freaked out by that letter that's going to come from that they owe this much money. They're going to lose their mind.
Well, and there will be people who have gotten into homes in, say, a low down payment or a down payment assistance who may not have a lot of equity, may not understand what equity is, that there's depreciative equity because they didn't put any money down, and may immediately turn to foreclosure because they do see that big number. Oh, you owe $22,000 from 6 months of forbearance or something. So we'll see some, but how much? That's the question.
Well, and the scary thing too is not only are you behind on your mortgage, but if your taxes are escrowed in there, you're behind on your taxes. That's the other
No,
thing.
You're not.
Well, if nothing's getting paid.
The servicer is required to pay those.
Are they?
Otherwise, guess who's going to get in front of the servicer? Uncle Sam gets to jump in front of the first lien. You guys know that as a title company. That's why you insure us. So yeah, they will keep paying it. And that's why you're seeing on the govies in particular that premium pricing that I've been talking about week in and week out. It's because the higher level of forbearance, the servicers are having to bear the financial brunt of those people not paying their loans. But you still got to pay your taxes. And you still got to pay the homeowner's insurance because God forbid that thing burns down while they're
homeowners. I mean, it's been a discussion many times. I mean, it started with Tina talking about that a couple of weeks ago. That other agents have jumped in about that, and yeah, everybody, their brother's going to want to foreclose.
Yeah.
Servicers win. They always do.
Eventually they do. In Arizona, in trust deed states like Arizona, they win easier than in those mortgage states where they have the courts first. Hey, we could talk about this topic, and we do often. I think it's something that we all need to keep on our radar screens. But Emma's here, and I don't know the specifics of her tip this week, but I definitely want to make sure we give Emma plenty of time so that she can enlighten us some more and make us better at our social media. So let's segue over to Emma. What do you got for us this week?
All right. Hi, everyone. So my name is Emma. I think most of you probably know me by now, but if not, I am one of the co-founders of Remodel Social. We provide local and relevant content for Arizona real estate agents, and we post it to your Facebook business page so you don't have to worry about that. And so today I am going to talk to you guys. If you were in one of my classes, I did a class recently with Kirk and Shane. We talked about using Facebook groups for marketing. And so today I'm just going to give you a quick tip on how to use groups to your advantage that I think people might not know about. So let me just share my screen really quick. Hopefully it works. Can you guys see that? Okay, perfect. So you can see here that I'm just in a group that I found that this is a great group to be in if you're a real estate agent, by the way. There's not rules on promotion or anything like that, so you can go in here and promote all day long. So that is a good group to be in. But this is just a group of people who are wanting to move to Arizona. So a good thing to do in this group that I would suggest doing from time to time is to use the search function, which again, this is a new Facebook. So a lot of you have probably switched over from classic to new Facebook at this point. So this is what it looks like in new Facebook. And you can see this magnifying glass right here. And it'll let you search for something in the group that has popped up. So if I'm a realtor, I can search realtor and see what posts have come up that have mentioned realtor. And then you can see that I have some filters here. So I probably don't want it to be on posts I've seen unless I'm looking for something I already saw and I'm trying to find it again. So the one I suggest turning on is most recent. So if you flip on most recent, you can see that there's some questions in here. You know, this lady is asking for advice from something her realtor told her. So you could weigh in on that, you know, add your expertise to the conversation, that kind of a thing. This lady is asking about what a certain type part of Arizona is like. You could weigh in on that if you know anything about that. This person is literally looking for a real estate lender. So you guys need to be in here. You need to be looking at these conversations. These pop up all the time. You want to be monitoring this stuff. You want to be the first person in there with information, because a lot of times, especially on social media, people are looking for something that is instant. So if you can be the first person in here to comment with helpful information and you can get them, you know, into your MLS list or anything like that, that is going to be perfect for you guys. So yeah, that is the quick tip for this Friday, is just the search function on groups and how you can use it.
Quick question. How do you find groups like that, Emma?
Yeah, so literally just type into your Facebook search bar, moving to Arizona, relocating in Arizona, anything like that. And those groups are going to come up right away. You can see how many members they have. You can see how active it is, because it'll show you how many posts per day are in the group. So a pretty active group will have anywhere from 5+ posts per day. The inactive groups sometimes will even show you the numbers per week. That is a bad sign. That means that the group is not very active. If they're telling you, you know, there's 7 posts per week, that's not very good. So yeah, you want about 5 posts per day at a minimum for any groups that you're joining. And yeah, you can search for those just in the search bar. Cool.
Very cool. Anybody have any questions for Emma on that? I tend to always be the one asking questions because I'm always trying to learn this stuff.
Somebody has
to other people. Bueller? No? All right. Well, hey, it's 8:59, so we're coming in right on schedule, which has been rare here lately. We've tended to run over 5, 7, 10 minutes pretty much on a weekly basis. So open it up for questions. Anybody got any questions, any topics like to throw out to the group this week? Speak now or forever hold your peace, at least till next week.
Hold it until next Friday.
Exactly, at least till next Friday. No? All right. Well, Shane, any parting words, my friend?
No, it's awesome to be here as always, and hopefully everybody has a great weekend. If you're writing some contracts, write that Greystone title on there. If you need a lender, you got Kirk, of course. Emma and I had a nice conversation earlier this week, but that's a whole nother subject on do's and don'ts in your social media and everything else, I guess. But I did get the email from Jim or Becky, or who, you know, with the stats on there, and I can probably.
Can you share that real quick? And by the way,
I mean,
have you back with the do's and don'ts, Emma. That's probably important.
Yeah.
Especially the don'ts.
Yeah, it was just a weird thing that Shane and I have uncovered, but I'm not sure I want to sound the alarms on it just yet. I don't know. I'm going to leave it up to Shane.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was just, you know, what you can and can't, how you can and can't represent yourself in social media, really. That's kind of what it was. But let me see if I can share this real quick.
The topic for another Friday morning.
Yes, most definitely. And it kind of, hopefully you guys can see this okay. I don't know if it's too small, but
Yeah, it's pretty small.
I know, and I don't know how to make it bigger.
You have a magnifying glass at the top middle on the right hand or on the left hand side. No, middle.
Nope, more towards the middle.
Yeah, and then to the left of all those middle icons.
Up by 8:50, where it says the time and the camera.
Right here?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That may be me. Hang on.
Might be behind this thing. There it is. Okay.
There you go.
Behind this little doodad here. All right.
There you go.
Let me get this out of the way. Okay.
Becky says we can all Zoom ourselves on Zoom.
Oh, can you?
Apparently.
Well, that's kind of cool too then.
That's why it's called Zoom.
So this is Cromford for Chandler. And I'm not an expert at reading these little things, but you can kind of make out what's going on here. Active listings, under contract, there's pending stuff, listings under contract. And you can see the ups and downs here, obviously. Days on market, very cool stuff here. But we're looking at this in rush hour here. So, and as of 2 years ago, last year, so it goes back 2 years here.
Well, I guess the only way that the number I was talking about, because you know, that number's not in here. I think the number I'm talking about, you're not going to be able to find it because some of them are going pending once immediately listed. Some of them are going pending while they're still incoming soon. I think the only way you're going to even remotely be able to track that would just be what is actively under contract. And how's that number fluctuating? Because are the number of homes currently under contract, not closed yet, and not just as a listing, are those numbers higher than what we historically see? Do we have more homes currently under contract than what we historically see?
Right. I mean,
isn't that the number on the top right? 2 years ago, there were 689 active listings. And this month, it's only 429.
Well, those are active listings. What about pending? Pending. There we go. Pending listings.
Pendings are here.
Yeah.
Down from last month and last quarter, but still over.
But it is up a little bit. Okay.
2 years ago.
Okay. So it seemed like the number of listings hitting the market is on par with historical numbers, but buyer activity is gobbling all those up immediately.
Well, look at
the 689.
Look at the sales per year. 2 years ago, we had 4357. Right, you know. So.
Yeah, we're on track to probably.
They got an up arrow here.
Beat that. Yeah.
So it's interesting. Of course, that's over
good
last
stuff.
month.
It's good stuff. You have to do a little interpretation. It's not just.
You do. You do. I know Cromford is, well, I mean, Michael Orr's like a mad scientist, just tinkering with numbers and stuff. And he really is. He's just in a laboratory, just crunching stuff, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, for the layman to come in and look at this, it's like, what are you looking at? You know, which is kind of why I like the Altos reports a little bit, because the layman can actually look at that and understand what that is. This is a little more complex, but it's more geared for an agent. It really is. I mean, but
you know, a term we use a lot is you know, when you're looking at numbers is granular. You know, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to look at this too closely because it gets so granular. You're better to kind of look at it maybe once a quarter and just take quarterly snapshots, because if you're looking at this daily, weekly, monthly, the fluctuation in the data could not necessarily trend properly. So
yeah,
good stuff though.
I agree. I mean, yeah, once a month I think is what I would, every day would be kind of hard. I mean, my stuff comes weekly, so I kind of crunch weekly. I just know trends on a weekly basis. Basically, it's like, hey, things are going down or up or whatever. I can kind of note that, but yeah, cool stuff though, nonetheless.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Becky. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, if anybody doesn't have anything else, kind of one of our promises is not to let this thing run too long so we can all start our Fridays and end our weeks. So as always, thanks for being here, everybody. Really appreciate it. We'll be doing it again next week. Now, Emma, you aren't with us next week. You're with us the following week. So
Correct, yeah.
We actually have Tim O'Neill with us next week.
Okay, that's right. So Tim O'Neill, the home inspector, will be with us next week.
Yeah.
Yes. So be sure to tune in. He's like tool time. Tim O'Neill. All right, everyone. Have a great week. Take care.